Paul Heyman is lying on his back in the backstage corridors of Madison Square Garden, and the Vision is standing over him with an intensity that nobody saw coming. In the moments after Monday Night Raw went off the air, something explosive happened behind the curtain, something that could fundamentally reshape the entire power structure of who advises, who influences, and who actually controls the narrative in professional wrestling. This is the backstage story that's about to change everything, and we're breaking down exactly what led to this moment of chaos at the most famous arena in sports entertainment. Paul Heyman has spent decades as one of the most influential figures in professional wrestling. He's managed champions. He's shaped narratives. He's positioned himself as the voice, the advisor, the guy who whispers in the ears of the most powerful people in the industry. He's been indispensable. But here's what makes this moment so significant. Every empire eventually faces a moment where the foundation cracks. Every advisor eventually meets someone who doesn't need advice. Every controller eventually encounters someone who refuses to be controlled. That person is the Vision. Now the Vision represents something new. He represents a generation of competitor that doesn't need the traditional infrastructure of management to become relevant. He doesn't need a famous name to build credibility. He doesn't need a seasoned guide to tell him how to navigate the political landscape. What the Vision has is pure instinct, pure drive, and a perspective that challenges everything Heyman has built his reputation upon. When two forces like that collide, especially in the backstage area where no cameras are rolling and no script is being followed, things get real. Things get personal. The psychology of this confrontation goes much deeper than a simple disagreement. Heyman has always operated on the principle that he knows better. He's the mentor. He's the visionary in his own right, which is probably why a character literally called the Vision threatened him on such a fundamental level. Imagine standing in that hallway at Madison Square Garden after Raw, after the crowd has gone home, after the show has ended. Heyman is still in his element, still thinking like he has leverage, still believing that his experience and his track record mean something. Then the Vision walks past him, and something about that moment ignites. According to reports filtering through the wrestling community, the confrontation started verbally. Words were exchanged. Heyman, ever the talker, probably believed he could talk his way through this like he has everything else in his career. He probably tried to position himself as someone who understood the Vision's potential, someone who could help shape that potential into championship gold. But here's where the dynamic shifted. The Vision didn't want help. The Vision didn't want advice. The Vision wanted respect, and Heyman wasn't offering it. Heyman was offering something Heyman always offers, which is control wrapped in the language of opportunity. That's when things escalated. The physicality that erupted wasn't random violence. It was a statement. It was the Vision literally removing Heyman's ability to talk, to advise, to position himself above someone else's narrative. When you physically destroy someone as verbally dominant as Paul Heyman, you're not just winning a fight, you're taking away their primary weapon. You're saying that your strength, your conviction, your willingness to act is more powerful than his ability to manipulate through words and influence. That's a psychological victory that goes far beyond whoever can throw the hardest punch. The timing of this at Madison Square Garden is absolutely crucial to understanding what this means. Message is where careers get made. It's where history happens. It's where legends are born. Having this confrontation happen in those halls, in that location, gives it weight that it wouldn't have anywhere else. The Vision is making a statement that he's arrived. He's not just a competitor. He's not just another wrestler trying to find his place. He's someone willing to challenge the established order, willing to dismantle the infrastructure that keeps people like Heyman in power, willing to rewrite the rules about who gets to advise and who gets to lead. Now here's what makes this absolutely genius from a storytelling standpoint. Heyman represents the old guard. He represents experience, credentials, and the idea that you need someone whispering in your ear to be successful. The Vision represents the new wave. He represents independence, self-determination, and the concept that sometimes the only voice you need to listen to is your own. This isn't just a backstage fight. This is ideological warfare presented through physical confrontation. This is about generational change in professional wrestling. The destruction that took place carries ripple effects that go in multiple directions. First, there's the question of what this means for anyone Heyman has been advising or working with. If Heyman can be physically decimated at Madison Square Garden by someone rising up, what does that say about the value of his counsel? What does it say about his ability to position people for success? Suddenly anyone aligned with Heyman might be reconsidering those alliances. They might be wondering if hitching their wagon to his influence is actually an asset or a liability. Second, this creates immediate elevation for the Vision. In professional wrestling, taking out a legend, a figure of authority, a symbol of the old system, that's instant credibility. That's the fastest possible way to tell the audience that this person matters, that this person is dangerous, that this person is someone to watch going forward. One backstage encounter with Paul Heyman, and the Vision has essentially announced himself as a significant force on the roster. That's the power of psychology in professional wrestling. But there's also a third angle here that's worth exploring. This could spark retaliation. This could spark consequences. Heyman has allies. Heyman has relationships. Heyman has positioned himself within the WWE power structure in specific ways. If he decides to weaponize those relationships against the Vision, we could be looking at the beginning of a larger conflict that extends far beyond just these two individuals. This could become faction warfare. This could become about who controls the narrative going forward, who has the ear of management, who has the influence to shape championship opportunities and main event slots. The physical aspect of what happened matters, but the psychological aftermath matters even more. Picture Heyman over the next few days, recovering, processing what happened. He's been humiliated. He's been challenged. He's had his authority questioned in the most direct way possible. That's not something someone like Heyman takes lying down, quite literally. His response, whenever it comes, is going to be calculated. It's going to be strategic. It's going to be designed to reclaim authority and reassert dominance. That's the kind of character work that makes professional wrestling narratives compelling. The Vision, meanwhile, has made a statement that can't be taken back. He's shown that he's willing to cross lines, willing to escalate, willing to challenge anyone regardless of their reputation or their resume. That paints a target on his back, but it also gives him momentum. It gives him credibility. It gives him the kind of mystique that creates compelling television. Every competitor on the roster is now looking at the Vision differently. They're wondering who he is, what he wants, and what he's capable of doing next. What happened backstage at Madison Square Garden was more than just a physical altercation. It was a changing of the guard moment. It was the old system getting challenged by the new generation. It was Heyman's invulnerability being shattered by someone who refused to accept the established hierarchy. The consequences of this moment will unfold across multiple weeks of television, multiple storylines, and multiple character arcs. This is the kind of moment that creators in professional wrestling dream about because it's the catalyst for everything that follows. The question now is how this plays out on air, how this gets explained to the audience, and how the WWE narrative machinery chooses to position this pivotal confrontation as it becomes public knowledge. Will the Vision own what happened, or will he remain mysterious? Will Heyman seek revenge, or will he try to find a way to co-opt the Vision's momentum? How do the other major players on the roster respond to this power shift? These are the threads that WWE Express will be tracking closely as this storyline develops. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want analysis that goes beyond the surface level stuff and digs into the psychological architecture of professional wrestling storytelling, subscribe to WWE Express right now. We're diving deeper into what this means for the future of Monday Night Raw, and you won't want to miss where this goes next. This is WWE Express, and we'll see you in the next one.